Mist Survival is a single-player early access survival game that was developed by Dimension 32 Entertainment and more specifically Rati from Taiwan. The world will experience the apocalypse stimulation in the form of a virus pandemic. The players have to deal with it to survive through the difficulties such as finding shelter and food, threats from the environment and climate such as wildlife, bandits, infected, and mist are the obstacles that you have to fight through. With 5,000 positives and 1,000 negative reviews, the game stands in a very good place. Popular YouTubers covered the game, and the popularity of it has risen since then. This video will contain a lot of details, such as settings and mechanics of the game. When you first open the game, you will be asked to create a new world, and if you want to go back to your save, then simply click continue. Under options, you have general for changing language, control for mouse sensitivity, key mapping for your basic keybinds, audio with your standard sliders, display with the very basic options such as head bobbing and FOV, and finally graphics that are missing a lot of features such as bloom, frame rate support, ambient occlusion, sun glare, particle quality, and so on. The game begins with a text format introduction to the story of the game and a brief explanation of how you end up there. Every player spawns at the same location, which is a small shelter with a few resources around. You get introduced to a small survival guide that will teach you some basics, such as don't sleep in the shelter that you spawned because you can press 7 and sleep at the ground. For some reason, that's better. Shelter management allows you to set pre-located houses as your own, mist event that brings a lot of zombies in the area, and guide to bow and arrow mechanics, and an introduction to how mining and smelting works. Once you totally ignore this guide and you accidentally press exit, there is no way to go back. Not knowing anything about the game, the last thing that I wanted was a guide to something that I wasn't even aware of. This is a great example of how you shouldn't implement a guide into the game. Instead, let me show you how it should. Once the introduction test finishes, nothing should pop. You look around and you see a small shelter. Once you interact with the shelter, a pop-up will appear with the shelter management tab. Once the player starts running, the stamina tab will pop, explaining you how stamina and fatigue works. When it gets a little misty, then another pop-up will inform you about the mist event and what is about to happen. Bow and arrow guide once you obtain your first bow, mining and smelting once you enter any of the caves. With the same ideology, we can add a purification guide once your thirst gets to 30%, and hunting guide once your food reaches the same level, and guide on how to grow your food and vegetables, cooking, husbandry, building guides, and many more. What you saw earlier is the only guide that you will get. Before we get into the mechanics of the game, let's talk about the story and the environment. A virus pandemic in a form of a mist has occurred and all of the humans turned into aliens. Although the aliens look more like zombies, the developer didn't really think about the story before he started this project. We got this information from an interview that was taken by another YouTuber, and everything within the game is subject to change. Enemy models, or even the story as the game develops over time. You've been one of the few survivors. You are set in a very immersive apocalyptic environment to find resources to help you survive. Workable cars are scattered around the map, houses that you can loot for food, and bandits that claimed few locations as their own. Few of those camps hold hostages that you will have to rescue and bring to your house to help you survive. You can set them to cook or craft for you using your resources that you gathered. In the future, they will have their own questing system, revealing more of their story and a great way to help you explore the locations that you haven't before. Secret doors, puzzles, and hidden treasures will be part of the game to make it more interesting. The scale of the trees and the design of the locations make the story more believable. Currently, there is no map, but we know for sure it will be implemented in the future. Under inventory, you can see seasons. That doesn't play a big role in the game yet. I am expecting seasonal changes to the temperature and environment once we get some more craftable clothing. A clock displaying the current time and a temperature meter, health, hunger, thirst, fatigue, stamina, and cold are the things that you have to manage in order to stay alive. A 36 inventory slot with a description display, your main hand with 4 quick slots, and left hand for holding a shield. Under crafting, we have some basic craftables such as materials, food preservation, tools, first aid, ammunition, weapons, protection, chemical materials, and materials. Some craftables have some requirements, such as an axe and saw with the estimated time. You can harvest corn for seeds or chicken for meat, but sadly the developers didn't really give us any indicators for what we can harvest or not, leaving me with a lot of unnecessary confusion. Status displays any bad conditions, such as food poisoning and bleeding. Under equipment you can see the gear that you wear and key items for objectives. There are a few things that I want to expand on, starting with time. Me survival is heavily inspired by the long dark. Crafting, sleeping, eating, and building requires an X amount of time. All of your stats will be affected during that time. If it's cold outside, then the cold meter will start rising. Your hunger and thirst will start dropping, and your fatigue and stamina accordingly. Most importantly, your health can only be healed using this mechanic. Make sure your food and hunger are at the max and do any task that requires time. Mechanics like this are rarely used unless the game wants to follow the hardcore route. It slows down the progression of your character and brings a lot of annoyance. Sprinting drains your stamina, and unlike any other survival, fatigue factors how fast your stamina will recover. Berries can give you stamina, but most often you will end up sleeping in the ground for an hour. There are a lot of craftables to cover, so let's begin with your first workbench. On the left side, you have the crafting queue that you can assign your 3 NPCs to it while you are exploring or sleeping. Instead of skipping 3 days to do 3 tasks, you can skip 1 to do 3. Once the crafting is completed, the items will go below for you to grab. On the right side, we have materials, tools, weapons, ammunition, gear, clothes, light, and protection equipment that you can click and craft it yourself, or assign an NPC. In order to unlock all of the craftables, you have to upgrade your workbench by using certain items. At the current stage of the game, clothing is useless and light almost non-existent. I am sure more craftables will be added later on. As for now, it feels very limited. You can find workbench and extra storage scattered around the map, but if you want to craft it yourself, then we enter the building tab. By pressing B, we can find different types of fire: cooking equipment, water purifier, barrel, saw machine, repair bench, pre-made houses, fence, huge walls, watchtowers, chicken coop, feeder, lights, fridge, beds, storage, tables, chairs, dummy target, and finally, few gardening things to grow your fruits and vegetables. The first time you saw this game, you said, wow, that is a lot of things. Well, repair bench only repairs, reloading bench only this is your farming equipment, this makes only booze, dine rack dries only one type of meat, saw machine only wood planks, the chicken coop is kinda worthless, the blacksmith has some basic tools, and there are no customizable built-ins whatsoever. That's where the game shows that it's in early access and misses a lot of things. Let's get into the most important aspect of the game. Surviving. The map is pretty big. It has a lot of houses that most of them have nothing in them, making it very frustrating when you spend 15 minutes to clear the zombies to find nothing. Early in the game you will struggle a lot because there is a lot of things to be aware of. Day 1 you have to rush to the gas station and motel for supplies and let the RNG decide whether you will quit the game and reset or not, because shortly after the mist will hit you and you will die. Talking about dying, you will die a lot. Oh yeah, you will. You will die so many times that you will spend more time in the main menu reloading the previous save than actually playing the game. Reviving is not an option because loot is very limited and it does not respawn back. You count mostly on zombies to die by you, so you can get any resources. Cars are lootables and distractable. Later on in the game, you will fix a car and make it easier for yourself to go around the map. There are few locations with bears and deers, but harvesting them will get you killed for sure. The time will speed up. The night or mist will come and zombies will kill you. Zombies get attracted by anything that requires time to be spent, like sleeping, harvesting, crafting, or even looting another zombie. That will get their attention instantly and hunt you down. Well, that could be good and bad. Have a look. Aye, time for farming, boys. The AI in this game is absolutely ridiculous. Probably one of the worst that I ever seen in my life. Zombies will lock on you, run and kill you instantly without a second thought. Since loot is so limited, spear, bow and arrow will be your best friend. Using a shield is pointless and spear has so little damage that you just end up dead, unless you exploit their stupidity and climb a car or a fence. Well, for now it's somewhat playable, until Ratty adds vaulting to zombies too. Then you just uninstall the game. The melee combat needs 100% rework and the AI to relax a little bit. As for the bandits, it's a different story. Full lock on you. They will shoot you through walls and nothing will stop them. Enjoy some gameplay from a very experienced player trying to raid a bandit's base. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, probably 8. What the f... Two. 1. 2. 1. Whoa. Whoa. Really? Hey, Rachel, welcome to the party. Wow. I'm bad. Wow. I'm terrible. As you can tell, there is a lot of issues. Exploits are your second nature, and a terrible terrain is your biggest enemy. Unfinished walls, unfinished roads, houses disappearing, no car collision, and NPCs with terrible pathing. Talking about NPCs, I lost all of them. Yeah, I went out to get supplies, I came back and they were gone. I didn't see them since then. I saw a bandit lock on me and chase me across the map, and then he started running towards my house. I'm not even sure if that's possible, but I believe he killed them all. They don't even show on my house management. Oh yeah, my house is fully glitched. I can't walk up the stairs. The house management was supposed to be on the front of the house, and I'm still trying to understand why did this happen. Well, it's a $10 early access, right? Let's talk about mining. In order for you to get a pickaxe, you need low quality metal ingots. For that, you need metal scraps. To get that, you need a sledgehammer, but you can't make one because you need metal ingots. So you grab your axe and you start smashing cars. You run out of stamina, you sleep on the ground, and you do it over and over again until it gets misty or dark. You go home, you sleep, you go back, and you continue for 4 to 5 days again. Make sure to not switch your axe for another tool, because you can exploit it and use a broken axe over and over again. Go chop the entire forest and pretty much do as you wish. Good luck finding another axe, because remember, you can't make another one unless you know exactly the location of the only pre-made blacksmith in the game. Making a blacksmith yourself takes a lot of components, and by now you know how to get them. Finally, you have your pickaxe. Let's go get some ingots, shall we? Or not. Randy, if you can't code the guy properly, then why did you make him? Not only that, but you are also already making a second one. Myth Survival is an early access, single player, survival, buggy mess. Whoa. Oh, nice. Like it. Yes. Wait a second. Save game. There we go. Whoa. Shit. Oh no no! Oh no no no! Now that I got your attention, let's make this right. Ready? It's okay to be inspired by The Long Dark. I played it for over 80 hours and I'm not even done with it. I get my inspirations from other YouTubers and streamers, but I don't copy them, because each one of them has something different to offer. Let me give you my advice and make Myth Survival a $60 best game ever created. Remove the time system you currently have completely. If someone wants to go and craft or build something, use the same amount of time that was needed in real life for that item to be made, like 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 10 minutes, and so on. Make it even more expensive if you think it's better. Make all of the loot to respawn within 48 hours in game, including lootable and unlootable cars. Make the zombies walk unless it's misty or dark. Keep the current stats as they are, with the only difference sleeping in a bed won't skip time, but will slowly recover fatigue. Remove completely the sleeping on the ground mechanic, because it's really stupid, and put some small shelters around the map for people to use. Make the guide system the way that I mentioned earlier. Give people information about how much time cooking needed so we can add fuel accordingly. Give us the ability to see how much time different type of wood will give us. Completely rework the farming system. Give us an indicator of how much water is in the soil and an indicator for plant growth. If it requires more water, the water meter will drop over time. Iron down the terrain of the map so I stop getting stuck everywhere. Add a third person while driving. Expand your livestock by adding cows, pigs, and other animals. Add more husbandry buildings like the chicken coop that you made, and slowly start expanding the craftables and keep the map as it is. You don't need to worry about the size of the map. Finally, expand your crew and hire an AI expert to make the NPCs and enemies less frustrating and more natural. If you don't take my advice, then I will continue exploring the game, because you can't do anything to prevent the skip time exploit. You make a big farm, you water all of your plants, you sleep, and you keep multiplying your crops again and again, giving you pretty much infinity, making the survival aspect of the game non-existent anymore. After playing the game for over 40 hours, most of the time I was lost, confused, and frustrated, frequently asking myself, why am I still playing this game? If I'm not glitched while driving, then I'm getting shot by an aimbotter. Every YouTuber that made a review of this game, it is a positive review, making me in this case the bad guy. Yeah. If I wasn't passionate about the genre, then I wouldn't make this review. I could say this is very good early access and take a shower with the money that I will make, but I don't. The game has a lot of potential, but it's up to the developer to take the feedback from someone that played every single survival game that ever existed. The developer is very passionate about this game, and updates are going live in a rapid pace. It is just a matter of time before we see the direction the game will take. As for now, the current stage of the game is not something that I would recommend to my viewers. I don't regret playing the game, but I don't recommend it. I will be back in the near future. With that being said, that concludes my review for Myth Survival. Thank you very much for watching, I appreciate that, and if you want to see the playthroughs live, you are more than welcome to join our live stream. Until then, I'm gonna see you again on the next one. Bye!